Hey everyone, Cristin here, and I wanted to go over a couple of things. So the group is working on Sweet Land of Liberty, the pillow, and it is sponsored by Your Best Friend's Quilt Shop. So you can get the kit from them. Also, you need to download the design, the pillow design. It is on the Kimberbell website. I mentioned it in a couple other videos. And if you use the link under the video, all of the Sweet Land of Liberty pillow videos, underneath that video, there is a link to our sponsors affiliate link that takes you to Kimberbell, and then you just go from there to type in the search bar, you type in Liberty. Even just simple Liberty will bring up your options. So you'll see the Liberty pillow, the embroidery pillow, and you'll also see Liberty quilting designs if you choose to do that. So that's one thing. The other thing is, I know that there's a lot of newbies doing this pillow, and so I just want to give a little hand holding. Everyone is doing their videos and photos and information, tips and tricks and such, and helping out for this project, and that is so great. So I'm going to let that let everyone run with that. It's going to be super excellent, and I'm so appreciative for everyone doing that. But I also want to take a step back and give a little information at the beginning of the project for those that are just starting out fresh. So the very first block is Sweet Land. It's called Sweet Land. What I did is I printed out the first page of the directions. I did that just for a reference on the videos. I did that before I knew I wasn't going to be doing all the videos. So I have that in each of my packets. So as I mentioned on my last video, I have a packet for each block. I've got them in the order that I was planning on doing them. I included embellishments like leather and glitter and felt and whatever, and then also the batting. So I also printed out the first page. So let me just give quick information. So on this one, if you are doing the quilting, most are doing the quilting in the hoop. You do that first before you do the actual embroidery. So I'm going to show you a little bit about that process, but there's some questions about the hoop size. So on the very first block, that Sweet Land block, we use a 6x6 quilting design. So you always know the quilting size to use based on the final cut size. So the final cut size of this block is 6.5 by 6.5. So that means that we want a quilting design that is 6 by 6, because that extra 1/4 inch all around the sides is our seam allowance. So you want a 6 by 6 quilting design. If you have an 8 by 8 hoop, that's what I'm going to use. That's the easiest in my opinion. You don't have to change anything. It fits really well, and then you cut it down to size when you're all done. If your largest hoop is 5 by 7, then you would need to double hoop if you're doing the quilting in the hoop. And that's very easy to do. I have lots of videos on how to do that. You would do 2 hoopings. So one would be a 4 by 6 and one would be a 2 by 6. And that will work perfectly to get your 6 by 6 quilting design, and very, very simple to do. If your largest hoop is a 6 by 10, then you can do that. You can do the 4 by 6 and a 2 by 6 if you choose, or in my opinion, an easier way is to just take out steps 3 and 4 of the quilting design. So steps 3 and 4 are what make the quilting design 6.5 by 6.5, and then it won't fit in your 6 by 10 hoop or a 6 by 6 hoop if you have that. So only because of those it won't fit. And of that, so the first step of the quilting design is the placement stitch for the batting. The second step is the tack down stitch of the batting. The third step, the one I'm recommending that you take out, is the placement stitch for the main fabric. So on your stabilizer, it will stitch out a 6.5 by 6.5 design so that you can place your main fabric there. And then the fourth step, also I recommend taking out because it's 6.5 by 6.5, is your tack down or basting stitch of that main fabric. So those 3 and 4, the steps 3 and 4, are not necessary. You can use tape. You don't have them. The only problem is that in most machines, you would need to actually use software to take it out. If you have a machine that you can edit it and take out steps, I don't believe mine does that. I've heard that there's a machine that will let you bypass it, even though it won't fit. But most of us have a machine that when you put your hoop in and the design is larger than your hoop, it will say, I can't do it, I can't do it. So that's why you need to use software to take out those steps. So many of us use Brilliance Essential software. I am an affiliate of that. Under this video, there is a link if you decide to purchase Brilliance Essentials. But I think, and I'm not sure about this, but there is a free version. I don't remember what it's called, but if you go to my link and just download without purchasing, you can test it out. And I believe that that one will let you take out those 2 steps and save it so that you can test out the software. I'm not 100% sure of that because I have the paid version, but I think it's like you can add one design and you can't add another one. There's certain limitations, but I think you can probably take out those 2 steps and save it. I'm not 100% positive, but give it a try. So that's the easiest thing in my opinion is if you take out steps 3 and 4, then you'll be able to do this design. And when you get to the part where you would put down your main fabric, you would just tape it in place. Easy, right? So you can do that. Don't worry. So again, if you have a 5x7, you would need to double hoop. If you have a 6x10 hoop, you should be able to take out steps 3 and 4 and do the entire design without having to double hoop. Or you can double hoop if you prefer. Either way works fine. So Linda Dunbar did a tutorial for the Sweet Land block and she did a great job. I just finished watching it. She didn't do the quilting. And most of us are doing the quilting. And for those that are brand new to it, I want to show you how to do it. So I am probably going to create another video just quickly how to do the quilting. And then she shares all the other information on how to do the full block. So you are going to use your fabrics and embellishments for the Sweet Land block. Real quick, I don't recall if she went over sizing in case you haven't pre-cut. So your main fabric is the white with red dots on it, and you want to make sure to back this with fusible stabilizer. You can see it is a light color and it's large enough that you just want to make sure not to have puckers. So I highly recommend that. So on this main fabric, it is 8.5 by 8.5 to start with, 8.5 by 8.5. I don't look like I have mine the right size. I'll have to check that. 8.5 by 8.5 for your main fabric. And like I said, back it with fusible stabilizer. And then for the small star, there is, let's see, gold embroidery. So small star is going to be this. It's a mustard color. I did back this with fusible stabilizer. Some do, some don't. It's totally optional. I do. I like the crisp look and it makes it easier for cutting. So when you're cutting applique pieces, if you have backed it with fusible stabilizer, it's not going to fray. I like that. I like that I can trim it and not worry about all the little pieces everywhere. So 1.5 by 1.5. And then the large star is the gold leather, and that is 2 by 2. Don't back this with anything. Leave it exactly as you have it. And then for the firecracker, it is a red leather, and that is 2 by 2 also. And again, don't back it with anything. So 2 by 2. So the rest of the video will be from Linda. She went over step by step of how to do the actual embroidery and applique design, but I'm going to probably include some information on how to do the quilting since this is the first block of a brand new project, and I know that there are newbies doing it. You can do this. So Linda and everyone else, they are being super supportive and adding information to motivate you and to have it be a group project and have it be fun. It's not exactly step by step. She did go over step by step of the embroidery and applique, so you should be fine. The other thing I forgot to mention is you are going to want batting. So if you are quilting in the hoop, you want batting. And the way I always determine batting, quick and easy way, is a 1/2 inch larger than the final cut size. So the final cut size, like I said earlier, is 6.5 by 6.5. So I cut my batting to 7 by 7. That's just an easy way to do it for me. So anyway, make sure and watch Linda's video. She goes over all of the step-by-step of the embroidery and she shows you the machine too. She did a great job. Thank you, Linda. So everyone, you got this project. It's super fun. I think it'll be great, and I'm going to work on it as well. And one other thing is you want to use stabilizer in your hoop. I am using the Kimberbell light mesh cutaway. In my hoop, you could use tearaway if that's what you have on hand. When you go to stitch in the ditch, it's easier with the light mesh cutaway. Katie Mayo, one of our admins, gave me that tip because I used to use tearaway on everything. And it is easier when you do stitch in the ditch. For a pillow, it's not a difficult thing anyway, but for the quilting especially, I like this stuff. So anyway, go ahead and get started on your first block or whichever block you're working on. And Kat Ray, I think it was Ray. Sorry, I forgot already. She is coordinating all the people that are working on videos for the group. So fantastic job to everyone. I'm so appreciative. Seriously, it's wonderful. Thank you. All right, so you have your first blooper already because I had the wrong size somehow. So white with red dots and 8.5 by 8.5 for your main fabric for Sweet Liberty. One other thing, I am using Wavy 4 in vertical. You can use horizontal, you can use plaid, you can use whatever you have in your library of designs. Whatever will work is totally fine. It does say in the directions that they used Wavy 4 6x6 in vertical, so that's what I'm going to do. I think that will be really cute, but your quilt your way, your pillow your way. You can do it however you want to do it. One other thing that's important to mention, if you're doing the background quilting, if you are doing double hooping, you would not want to use an orange design. The design that I'm using today, Wavy 4, is an orange design. So what that means is that it has traveling lines that will go into the seams, which is perfectly fine. But if you are double hooping, those traveling lines will go onto your second hooping. So you wouldn't want to use an orange design if you are double hooping with a 5x7 hoop. In any other scenario, it is perfect and no problem at all. But if you are double hooping, you want to choose a blue design. If you go onto the Kimberbell website, you can type in Wavy 4 and you can see that it is orange. It has them stitched out on orange felt or something like that to show those that are an orange design, and then the ones that are blue designs are stitched out on blue. So it's very simple to see. And again, if you are not rehooping, it doesn't matter. You can use orange or blue. If you are rehooping, you do not want to use orange. Hope that helps. And like I've shown on many videos, you can merge the two designs. You can do that on embroidery software. You can do it on your machine. It's very, very, very simple to do. I think I'll probably do just the quilting first and then do the embroidery design. That's an option as well. Since Linda already showed you how to do the embroidery, I'm just going to show you how to do the quilting. Okay, if you haven't merged two designs together before, it's very simple. You would start with your quilting design, choose that, click set, and then there's an add button right down there. Click add, and I go back to my pocket, and you can do your USB drive either way, and then click on that. And you'll see that they are merged together and they are centered, and so that's perfect. And then you would just click set and embroider, and you're all ready to go. All right, you can see that the first step is the placement stitch for our batting, and this is done right on the stabilizer. And all we're going to do is make sure to fully cover every bit of that box. I am using a light gray thread for my quilting. You can use whatever color works for you, or white, or something that matches your background fabric. I like the quilting to stand out a little bit more, so I am using a very light gray. When the design is mostly wording like this, I don't want it to overtake the block, so a light gray works for me. And just a reminder, so everyone is stepping in and helping out with this block and giving different tips and tricks and motivation and bloopers. So it's just fun, and this is for this project specifically, and so there will be different instructors on how to do the blocks for this specific project. All right, I have stitched out the quilting, gave my tips and tricks on quilting and what will work best. Remember 6x6 vertical design if you're using the wavy 4, and if you want it to be vertical, I'm doing the vertical. But for the rest of this video, the embroidery parts and the applique, I'm turning it over to Linda. All right, so once you finish your block completely, what I always do is I take out the basting stitches. And the reason I do that is because then I can pull my stabilizer all the way back to the stitch line and trim. So if you don't do that, then you're going to have this inside of your seam allowance, which is okay, but this is another option. So you can see I've taken out the basting stitches, which are 1/4 inch higher up, and then down here I'm able to cut my stabilizer right to the stitch line. So that just makes it easier for having easy block to cut and finish off. So I used variegated thread on my word sweet. I used regular blue. I thought about using royal blue, but I decided not to because I wanted a navy blue since we've got this lighter blue here. And then I did something fun. I saw a bunch of people are using metallic, so I used one type of metallic thread on this one and then a different metallic thread. So I used, this one was Filtech, like the can't think of what it's called, but basically Filtech metallic there, and then I used the Gold Star, I think it's called Gold Star metallic there, and then I used a variegated thread, which is several different colors of yellow on this. I thought that was really fun. Hopefully you can see that. And then these, I'm sure you can't see in the video very well, but I used a twisted thread. It's like gold and red or something, I don't know, but it came out really fun. Pretty happy with that. So anyway, hopefully you're spicing up your block and making it fun. Linda gave lots of different ideas, and so have others in the Cristin Creates group. Hopefully you're in that group and seeing everyone's posts of their pictures. So finish off your block, cut it down to 6.5 by 6.5.